Hello everybody, I am Brian Mullins the Fox, and welcome to my unscripted commentary/rant video about the Numbers by the Year collection and my experience with it. The first one being the roast game Numbers by the Year. It was actually the first for me, just doing research year by year, painstakingly and meticulously. It wasn't perfect, and neither was Thanksgiving dinner Numbers by the Year, even though the microphone quality doesn't matter, but the statistics do. Next, the Easter roast game Numbers by the Year, which is actually a lot easier for me to do than Thanksgiving dinner Numbers by the Year. Starting Volume 2 is Halloween Numbers by the Year, where I just go into Halloween statistics, and that's about it. Then, an idea came to mind. Hypothetical Christmas dinner Numbers by the Year. You've seen the video. You know what it proves. Then we get into the longest Numbers by the Year series I've ever had to make in a long time. Independence Day Numbers by the Year. Then finish Volume 2 off with New Year's Eve Numbers by the Year, with only 3 episodes. Then we enter into 2023 with Christmas Dinner All Over the World Numbers by the Year. Then continue it with St. Patrick's Day Numbers by the Year, and the final 2 being Valentine's Day and Memorial Day Numbers by the Year. Not a whole lot going on here other than just doing analysis when it comes to statistics, data, and other stuff. And then, with the finale of each of these final 2 Numbers by the Year series. Overall, for the past several months, from June of 2022 to April of 2023, it has been a hell of an experience. It only amalgamated to well over 7 hours of content, and I'm glad it did because it changed me a lot. But I had one already premiered by the time I'm premiering this on July 17th, and I have one yet to premiere on July 20th, 2023. And stay tuned for that. Can you imagine a better time to prove my ability to analyze statistics than this very moment that lasted for 8 months? Can you fucking imagine anybody else catching on with this format, or at least something similar to this? Because if so, this is fucking mind-blowing. Alright, I am Brian Mullins the Fox, signing out. See you then.
And I will take the survey with a grain of salt because it doesn't include people that fucking hate Christmas music being played over and over again. The people that are sick and tired of watching the same old Christmas movies over and over again. The fucking same people that should be taken into account in a much bigger survey than this. The same people that are annoyed at people who light Christmas lights or put up Christmas decorations in October or November before Thanksgiving. People need to wait until December to put those decorations up and take them down right after New Year's or not too long after New Year's. I'm at least glad that not as many stupid people aren't as into hanging stockings like they used to be 2 decades ago or so. There's a double standard when it comes to people who go after Pride Month, woke propaganda, woke holidays, etc., but won't go after Christmas with the same level of complete and total fucking derision, are utter useless hypocrites. Whining like boomers, always wanting to convince people that things were a lot better back in your day. You people have no power. You have no backbone. Yet you used to, but you don't now. Only your own worst enemies speak better of you, do more to speak for you, than you yourself alone. Only they can possibly learn from you how not to be a fucking parent, and certainly how not to be a fucking parent. You pretend to do only just to safeguard you and your loved ones from your own enemies. And to give your enemies that power, you are the source of their power. To feel powerless and weak is one thing, but it's something totally different knowing that you are a strong parent and a strong parental and motivational figure, and only showing that you're weak makes you fake. You yourself as a parent, father or mother, introduce your kids to a dangerous place that's known as the world. Introduce them to a bunch of really strange people, a bunch of kid grooming, overrated, diddle-blooded, just internally vibrating pedos and people in an unsatisfiable urge to touch your kids. Unfortunately, a lot of these groomer teachers, woke propagandists, creepy Christian parents, social justice warriors, the clergymen and priests are perfectly comparable to a Tickle Me Elmo on crack. He can demand and want all the attention you give him by pressing his belly and feeling him vibrate while he titters and cracks up. But every time he says,
"Oh boy, that tickles,"
he's deeply hurting, just trying to get that feeling again. The truth is that deep down inside, he's spiritually a perpetual child himself. Only young blood, and the youngest blood alone, can satisfy and take the perpetual child out of him. This is why surveys like this are absolute fucking cancer, bullshit, and wrong. I can only assume that all those people who had the opportunity to partake in that survey, and surveys like this, are fucking liars. If the data you've seen or wanted to see is what you got in the roast game numbers by the year, this is what you came for. If I am the individual that you either know, want to hear, or need to hear, this is who you came for. And for all of you watching this video right now, still living in a house where your mother and father pays the bills, keeps the food on your plate, keeps a roof over your head, and all you can do is complain that they're not good enough, that's entirely fair. Some parents are just not enough. It comes naturally. Sometimes it's hereditary. Sometimes it's just coincidental. Sometimes it's intentional. But still, it's entirely fair to say that. And for anyone out there to think that I get angry for nothing, fuck off. The lot of you. I'm Brian Mullins, the Fox, signing out. Just fuck off.
And now here's the rant. After doing all the research, the math, and crunching those numbers down, for a total of the 61 years represented, Thanksgiving data and price-wise, I feel that it is important enough to vent off and get what I want to say off my chest and mind. I am sure that 2022 will add on to the years I'm mathematically and statistically represented, but the Thanksgiving dinner stats for 2022 will be a completely separate video from the series. That's fine. I'm okay with it. I have no problem doing that whatsoever. In fact, it should become a yearly channel routine every Thanksgiving from here on out. Or at least after. Before we get over all of this, I just want to make this emphatically clear. What this series proves to me and to all of you who are watching is that Thanksgiving is the best time for Americans to consume hams and turkeys than Christmas can't even pretend to be. Christmas, on the other hand, has any other excuse not to be as full of comprehensible and understandable data, let alone the data or statistics representative of the same countries that concern them for America, and likely Canada, without stealing from any other countries, like the UK, and using them as their own, when they aren't. The roast game era, plus the first Christmas day that they went back to turkey or ham as the centerpiece of Christmas dinner since 1997. 19 years, 1 month, and 9 days. It still counts as 19 years after all. I'm now starting to believe and think that the 22 million estimate for turkey supposedly for quote-unquote Christmas is far more accurate for Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving alone, not for Christmas at all. The same goes for ham or pork on Thanksgiving. How can this be? How come even the estimates are useless for Thanksgiving as well? How come that even the 37 million number is nowhere near as accurate when it comes to consumption as I thought before? Even archive.org can't even find a single instance where any American, let alone a journalist, got any number from any source that isn't from any other country when it comes to Christmas dinner data of the present day and the past. Then the US instead of out of their assets. This is baffling. Thanksgiving can go far back as 1947, but Christmas can't even go further back than 2017. This is by far the most baffling discovery since the 20 fucking years rant back in 2021. This is nothing new. This is nothing to hyperventilate about like a complete spaz. This is something to take seriously no matter if you take it with a grain of salt or not. Is there some conspiracy that the mainstream media is intentionally hiding Christmas turkey or ham statistics for the sake of hiding them? Why would they hide them? How could anyone, let alone families, not know exactly what they ate? And not have it accounted for in statistics, datasets, and even empirical reality itself. Of course fucking not, you fucking moron. That was never what the roast game has ever been about. Period.
That crazy conspiratorial idea of the mainstream media intentionally hiding Christmas dinner hammer turkey statistics is not just asinine, but also completely ass backwards. Even if they do retract the quote-unquote data or statistics, the reason behind doing so is not necessarily nefarious to begin with. They make retractions of that fucking shit all the fucking time when it comes to Christmas dinner turkey or ham data that doesn't exist. Why would the mainstream media, let alone the American Farm Bureau Federation, the National Turkey Federation, the National Pork Board, and the National Chicken Council hide Christmas dinner data that doesn't exist before they can't make them exist? What the fuck? Who in the fuck gave birth to you, you insentient conspiratorial moron? There's no snowball's chance in ass that this possibly answers for the complete non-existence of decades worth of supposed Christmas dinner or Christmas ham or turkey data and statistics that again don't exist. Because as much as people consume a product, when consumption of a product takes place, there are numbers that are there to document it. If there are simply no number for any given representable year for ham or turkey on Christmas, then either you can't compute the data or they didn't consume the product. This wasn't planned. This wasn't intentional. It was just destined to happen no matter what. You can't plan something that didn't happen, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that not even the mainstream media, let alone any major alphabet agricultural or statistical organization can control, cover up, or account for. Thanksgiving is the only holiday where there is no excuse, absolutely zero excuse or reason to lie about the centerpiece of the dinner table. Christmas and Easter are not. The other two holidays they can't even fathom. And the irony of it all is Thanksgiving dinner has data and statistics even when the methodology isn't entirely straightforward. Before I end episode 5 of Thanksgiving dinner numbers by the year, I just want to thank you all for sticking around and standing by me after this clusterfuck of what you can call an entire series. I am Brian Mullins the Fox, your delightful host, signing out. Here's the rant. There's no fun in trick-or-treating anymore. Or wait, there never has been when it comes to wasting costumes, candy, pumpkins, disposable decorations, and candy wrappers. What is even the point of trick-or-treating when all you do is knock on people's door for candy, get all dressed up in a costume you never truly wanted because a kid wants to dress up as one thing this year and dress up as something or someone else the next? I've never heard of a kid who wanted to be the same thing every Halloween. Never in my life. For the past 4+ years of living in my apartment in the past, there was only 2 instances where I had trick-or-treaters knock on my door for candy. 2019 and 2020. I've trick-or-treated as a kid in the past. Maybe back then I found it to be fun. But when all the fun is over, you have to either take the costume off, put it in the closet, or throw it away. Worse, when you are wearing makeup face paint in an instance of me being a clown once or twice on Halloween, or any other character of your preference or choice, you have to have someone else do it for you so you don't have to screw the makeup or trying to take off the face paint yourself. Fuck Halloween. Fuck all the waste people engage in it when it comes to this holiday. This holiday stands up because even Easter candy is better. I'm Brian Mullins the Fox, signing out. Tune in next time for the next episode. Bye.
Hello everyone, I'm Brian Mullins the Fox, in here for the mood for a rant. Now, I want to get things straight. This will be a semi-short, semi-long rant, so depending on how long this will be, it wouldn't matter. Plus, for all I know, to do today is to work on episode 2 of Independence Day Numbers by the Year. Whenever that comes out, I'll start working on episode 3, and then so on. But this is the follow-up to the video that actually proved that the only average price of a Christmas dinner that would be accounted for is one without a centerpiece between 1998 to 2016. And y'all know why. Y'all seen the Proof compilation, y'all seen the Rant drama compilation, y'all seen the Roast Game Theory and season 1 of the Post-Roast Game Theory, and that viral video I made back in January. You all know this. The truth is, these families aren't what they seem. Their morality complex is nothing more than a sham. These people hide behind the vague veil of innocence. There's no conspiracy. It's not like anything is being hidden in plain sight, because why would you hide something in plain sight? It's not hidden at all. It's in the statistics. It's in the data. It's in the price. It's in the pudding. That's where the proof is.
And for anyone still wanting to deny this and still calling me a conspiracy theorist in your head or to other people nowadays, just know this. You will be long gone by the time your whole worldview will be proven completely false and wrong. And you will have to question your own sanity instead of begging to yourself inside or dying inside to try and gaslight me to question mine. Okay? I'm not gonna have any of that gaslighting shit. I'm not gonna have any of that, conspiracy theorist bullshit. What do you think a conspiracy theory is, numbnuts? If you call me a conspiracy theorist, I just dismiss you as a fucking retard, because you don't know what the fucking word means. A conspiracy theorist is someone who theorizes that there is a cover-up to hide the truth of a certain claim or a certain fact or data or statistics. There is no conspiracy to hide data, as I've proven in Thanksgiving dinner numbers by the year. There's no proof or evidence that I'm hiding anything. There's no evidence that any organization, be it the National Turkey Federation, the National Pork Board, and the United States Department of Agriculture is hiding anything. Because for Christmas dinner, they have nothing without the centerpiece. They don't have graphs without the centerpiece. And if the centerpiece couldn't have been accounted for between 1998 to 2016, we will all know why. Because they've thrown them away. All of them. Tens of millions. A year back then. Hams. Turkeys. They didn't choose roast beefs. They didn't choose roast chickens. That's not a tradition. Like, seriously, this is the thing that actually gets me fucking riled up. As a 23-year-old furry YouTuber whose main goal now is to go through all the holidays statistics and data-wise. That's it. Other than that, I'll focus on more of the post-roast game theory and other shit like that. So don't call me a conspiracy theorist if you don't know what the fuck that means. And if you don't know what a conspiracy theory is, let me give you an example. Let me put it this way. So if I prove that your worldview is wrong, that's not evidence of me covering up or hiding shit. In fact, in the past, I made videos on articles that were published by American journalists stealing British Christmas dinner statistics and using them as their own to try and speculate what the average American Christmas dinner would look like instead of how it actually looked like during the roast game era. That's not a cover-up. It literally is not. They just don't have any data on their side. And neither do you, if you are not on my side. I'm sorry that this has to be a sides issue, but it is now, since I have fully defined my side. You don't get to worm around contradictions or out-of-context character traits. You can't just be a hypocrite and then accuse someone else of being a hypocrite. You can't do any of that shit without being a hypocrite yourself. If we're all hypocrites, fuck it. I don't care. But let this be a reminder. A conspiracy theory ain't what you think it is. Unless you theorize one yourself, and unless you become a conspiracy theorist yourself, that is where the irony will be clear as day, and will not be lost on any of you who falsely use that self-contradictory ad hominem attack. I am so done doing all that shit when it comes to Christmas and the roast game era. I really am. But who am I to know when to end? It's out of my control. So in conclusion, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, like I said 4 years ago. That statement was true then and it is true now, 4 years later. The roast game is not a conspiracy theory, it is a fact. And number 3, I am Brian Mullins the Fox, signing out. Have a good day.
Hello, everybody. I am Brian Mullins the Fox, your delightful host. We're finally over all these numbers now, and I want to really rant so passionately, and you'll understand why. Throughout all the other 8 episodes, we went from what they ate on July 4th, 1776, 1777 through 1909, and we just continued to roll on through the decades from there. Changed the menu a couple or few times to make up for the statistics that aren't available to the public or readily available to me. That's okay. There isn't any effort in hiding statistics for no reason. It was either incomplete or completely useless. And to top it all off, we started using the average price of a July 4th cookout from the American Farm Bureau Federation all the way back to 2013 at the earliest possible. And that's about it. Now here is the rant. Why is it that the general population of the United States of America think or even have the nerve to believe that this type of information is quote-unquote useless? What is useless to anybody? How is it useless and why? Why do people like me actually care about doing this when what I really should be worried about is my future on not just the internet, but in real life too? If the number is the correct answer that you are looking for, it's not useless. If there is a graph, if you say Statista has an entire set already set up for you to go out, look up, and read it, well then go ahead and read it. It doesn't mean that everyone will get it. It doesn't mean that everyone will particularly care about it. And it certainly does not, under any circumstance, mean that everyone will be intelligent enough to actually, quote-unquote, get it. If the number is misleading, for example, Christmas dinner statistics that don't exist, then any other information like the 22 million number, or that it's so impossible to come up with data/statistics from your own country, so you had to steal it from another country like the UK, then shit like this is completely useless. But who am I to even remotely know who doesn't care to know about information like this? And why or why not? I'm just some Corsac Fox furry on the internet, churning out videos like this and ongoing series like this and others, going into as much detail as humanly possible. You have to define to yourself what the word useless means before you go off on some retarded diatribe and complain about how someone like me didn't do well enough on crunching those numbers down. Or how that the point I am conveying is not only lackluster, but completely wrong. There will be a time that everyone is so goddamn reactionary to a single mention of any number, big or small, will somehow be an infinitely perfect example of how and why people shouldn't take people like me or you seriously. Well, I mean, do they have a point? They wouldn't necessarily be complaining when the information the person is giving to you and the humble audience is true and accurately reflects reality. Or that it even accounts for inflation or other factors like that. If they did, maybe they're just biased, or maybe they're just trolling, or what the fuck do I know? I want to be philosophical for a beat and take you on a ride. It's going to be a bumpy one, so bear with me. Would it necessarily be a battle between short hands or small minds or brains? I mean, come the fuck on, really? Imagine data/statistics in the future being so, quote-unquote, useless in the hearts and minds of so many, even though it's not, that it would be either information that they can't cope with, so they have to deny giving any of it the time of day and the credence it actually deserves, or even worse, do all of that, but not pretend to be willing to accept that they are either completely wrong or they're all liars and hypocrites. Why are debates, conversations, DMs, voice chats, and even Discord chat logs, response videos, and even tweets that fail to rebut anything of quote-unquote worth a thing then? It really tells us a lot about how disingenuous and fake these conversations and quotations really come off as. Jesus Christ! Imagine the sophistry in the future on the internet or in conversations in the real world. Just absolutely unfucking believable. You all had the audacity to watch my content. But anyone outside of this who thinks all of this is just useless should actually either stand up to where in the discussion/debate they stand on sideways, or shut the complete fuck up and quit wasting my time. A useless piece of information is not blatant misinformation or disinformation about something that isn't necessarily contextually complete or true. A useless piece of information is a number or point that doesn't have any real need of being used as information nonetheless, nor does it have any useful bearing on reality as it stands. Useless information is not the same thing as a lie. If you spread or share around a piece of useless information, you're either just completely ignorant or completely and blissfully unaware of what you're talking about. Maybe you just weren't paying attention, but didn't care to anyway. Which is fine, right? Yeah, it's fair, I guess. It may very well be true, but you don't care about it enough to fully acknowledge that it is, to everyone you know, or to anyone at all. And that's why useless information is so fun. We don't have to lie to you for cheap clicks and likes on the internet, or for a meeting to your pointless career and your pointless financial endeavors in your life in the future. So don't get caught up in these shorthands, or else you will truly show just how useful these long arms really are. I have been your delightful host, Brian Mullins the Fox, signing out. In the next episode, there won't be any further recordings done for this series. I am done. Goodbye to you all. Thanks for watching.
Hello everybody, I am text-to-speech bot Matthew, filling in for Brian Mullins the Fox. He is incredibly busy with life right now, so I'll take his place for now. This rant will be short, but concise. We've learned a lot so far. 1. We've learned about the true origin of St. Patrick himself. 2. We've learned about a bunch of statistics and surveys that exist on the internet that tend to document the happenings and spending of money when it comes to this green holiday. St. Patrick's Day, Numbers by the Year has been a series that didn't need any extended amount of episodes, beyond only 3, this one being the last one. It has been a long-ass time since I went deep into a holiday this exact way, but it's pretty damn worth it. It's one thing when it comes to planned spending statistics. It's something totally different when all this makes no difference in a way that negatively impacts the said holiday to begin with. I knew this rant was going to be brief, but we've done a lot so far. I am text-to-speech bot Matthew, having filled in for Brian Mullins the Fox, signing out. Goodbye.
This will be the second to last Numbers by the Year rant, the next one being near the end of the next and final series within the entire collection. I feel satisfied that I've done all this, but at the same time, I feel a little weary having to find another way to get my channels out of inactive funks. This whole Numbers by the Year series started with the roast game Numbers by the Year, which started on June 12th, 2022, and ended on June 15th, 2022. As soon as the Numbers by the Year shit is done, I will combine it all in one video. And I'm going to estimate, or at least go out on a limb, and say that it's going to be somewhere between 6 to 7 hours long. I don't know. It's not been determined yet. But the next time that I will bother pre-premiering the next and last Numbers by the Year series will be somewhere between March and April of 2023. Maybe around the same time I work on the Easter video essay. And as of then, I will have already worked on something more important, like that video essay, and some other things I have yet to come up with. I knew this one wouldn't be a long rant. I've already vented off when it came to statistics, lack thereof, data, lack thereof, and everything else that came in between. So, the third and last episode will be some sort of montage. And this won't be any ordinary montage. It'll be a montage paying tribute to the entire Numbers by the Year collection before I even begin production of the last Numbers by the Year series ever. And that series will be about Memorial Day statistics and shit. I just want to go off on a rant, alright? I am sick and fucking tired of this goddamn tedious format. I know it's supposed to inform the audience, and I know that it's supposed to cover pretty much anything you can with each holiday. I'm not going to cover every single last tiny little thing, because it will just be useless itself. And I will hopefully add on to a lot of these statistics with more follow-up videos for Thanksgiving. I already covered Christmas,
and a couple others that aren't really that important. But overall, it's been a great, and I mean great, fucking run between June 12th, 2022, and the day that I'm recording this, January 29th, 2023, and by the time this premieres, which is sometime in April. Before I sign off and put you guys through a series montage, I want to again thank you all for watching, share this shit around before I end the series, and thanks for being there for me when I need you all most when it comes to my dying channels. One of these days, my main furry channel may no longer have above or at 10,000 subscribers. It's gonna be less, but it just depends. It's just a matter of when. The future for my channels varies a lot, and I'm not making any absolute predictions or anything like that. It wouldn't matter if that I would be making predictions sometime later. It's just gonna happen. I don't give that much of a shit. And with that being said, I have been your delightful host, Brian Mullins the Fox, signing off.